Marie Antoinette has been cast as a symbol of all that was wrong with the European monarchy: narcissistic, indulgent, and uncaring for the commoners whom she ruled over. In the early hours of the 16th of October 1793, Marie awaited her last sunrise in a dingy cell, as hated by some as she was loved by others. Separated from her children and with her husband long since executed, she had endured a vicious trial, the charges laid before her ranging from incest to treason, and through all of it, the outcome was never really in doubt. Her fate was sealed long ago. Marie Antoinette was born in Vienna as the daughter of the Holy Roman Emperor Francis and Maria Theresa. The young princess was chosen to marry the Dauphin of France, Louis Auguste, when her sister was found to be an unsuitable match. In 1770, her wedding took place with the Dauphin Louis. She married Louis to strengthen the French-Austrian alliance, and to build a dynasty that would re-establish France as the dominant power in Europe. Evidently, something had gone disastrously wrong along the way. In more than one sense, Marie Antoinette was a victim of circumstances. She arrived in France as a young Austrian princess. Her natural refinement won the hearts of the French. Yet as the years went by, her reputation was marred by various scandals, some true and others not. Various factors came into play that contributed to Marie Antoinette's death. Some were her own doing, and others were out of her control. For example, Marie Antoinette's husband Louis was physically unable to test the mattress with her until he underwent a minor medical procedure, which led to their union being barren for the first 8 years. Frustrated, Marie Antoinette escaped into a life of frivolity, dancing, gambling, and spending money on fashion, to avoid having to face her marital issues. Obviously, this did nothing to endear her to her people. She was known and widely disliked for her opulent lifestyle and her extreme spending habits, particularly of the affair of the diamond necklace, though to be fair to her she had nothing to do with it. She had previously refused to buy the necklace, and the affair was a confidence trickster convincing a government official that Marie wanted to buy it through an intermediary. The small matter of her innocence did not stop her popularity from plummeting. For this reason, she earned herself the unflattering nickname of Madame Deficit because of all the money she spent in her time as queen. Marie Antoinette typically lived extravagantly. Unfortunately, at that time France was experiencing great economic and social turmoil. As a result, people of France were in great hardship, with many being unable to even buy bread for their family, and many poor people were dying of hunger. But in the face of the Queen, this never meant anything. She kept on spending huge sums of money on her dresses, hairstyles, and luxuries. In October of that year, the people rioted over the exorbitant price of bread. This led to the French Revolution. By the time the revolution broke out in earnest, the Queen was despised by the vast majority of the French public, and she was even being blamed for the economical crisis. Her own opinion of the revolution was ambiguous. Sometimes she wanted to flee France, sometimes she hoped to reconcile with the revolutionaries, and finally the royal family was eventually arrested and imprisoned in the Temple in August 1792. Louis was separated, tried and sentenced to death by the guillotine after he was found to have been conspiring with other countries and engaging in counter-revolutionary acts. He was found guilty of treason and later executed in January 1793. By now Marie Antoinette was known as the Widow Capet, was the subject of intense debate as to her fate. While some advocated for her following Louis to the guillotine, others suggested exchanging her with the Austrians for prisoners or a ransom. Her son was also separated from her, and was soon turned against her. At the hands of the Terror, Marie Antoinette faced trial. The revolutionary tribunal that presided over her trial was quick and efficient. She was found guilty of 3 charges: high treason, depletion of the national treasury, and conspiracy against the state. On the morning of the 16th, Marie Antoinette got up very early. There was no clock, so she could not keep track of the time. With the help of a maid, she put on a white dress. The guards watched her every move, and in the end, the condemned woman exclaimed, "In the name of the Lord and decency, I beg you, leave me at least for a minute." The executioner Charles, who entered the chamber, cut off the Queen's luxurious hair. It was his trophy. Then the executioner put fetters on her hands, which were laid behind her back. The Queen, in a white piqué shirt, with a black ribbon around her wrists, with a white muslin shawl thrown over her shoulders, and in a cap on her head, in purple shoes, got into the executioner's wagon. She was taken through the Parisian streets. The crowd menacingly and insultingly hooted after her. The guillotine was located near the Tuileries Palace, on the Revolution Square. When Marie Antoinette was led to the chopping block, she inadvertently stepped on the executioner's foot. "Forgive me, monsieur, I didn't do it on purpose." These were the last words of the Queen of France. Despite all the frivolity and folly attributed to her, Marie Antoinette, before her execution, behaved with pride and complete self-control and did not drop her royal dignity in any way. She herself climbed the scaffold and she lay down herself under the knife of the guillotine. At 12:15 p.m. the Queen was beheaded in what is now the Place de la Concorde. Once it was done, the executioner picked up Marie's head and displayed it to the audience. Marie Antoinette's remains were taken to a graveyard behind the Church of Madeleine. Decades later, in 1815, Louis XVI younger brother exhumed Marie Antoinette's body and gave it a proper burial at the Basilica of Saint Denis.